do pararescuemen risk the ultimate price for others?
I think, first and foremost is they're great American citizens. They value this country, they value the morals and the values that we have inside of America. Every person that wants to serve, no matter where they are, and they don't have to be a PJ. I think anybody that gets in the military has a piece deep down inside of them that loves the United States of America and wants to help America be the best that they could possibly be. Pararescuemen just go to a different level, right? Um, I think that when you connect in a way with your fellow American citizens, there's something about you that wants to protect them, something about you that wants to save them, something about me. I want to get that call on your worst day. When you have no one else, when you are hurt, when you're trapped, when you think you're going to die, I want my radio to come to life and I want to hear you say help because I'm coming.
In times of war, some heroes are celebrated, their names etched into history books, but others, despite their extraordinary courage, remain in the shadows. Today, we shine a light on one such hero, Airman First Class William H. Pitsenbarger. A pararescueman in the United States Air Force, Pitsenbarger volunteered for one of the most dangerous jobs in Vietnam, rescuing wounded soldiers directly from the battlefield. But on April 11, 1966, he made a choice that would define his legacy. When given the chance to escape, he stayed behind. He fought, he saved lives, and ultimately, he made the ultimate sacrifice. Yet for decades, his story remained largely untold. In this video, we'll explore who Pitsenbarger was and the incredible bravery he showed on that fateful day, and why it took over 30 years for his heroism to finally receive the recognition it deserves. First, we will talk about what it means to be a pararescueman.
So just like the Navy SEALs, just like the Army Green Berets or Rangers or the MARSOC Raiders, the Air Force has special operations personnel that are specifically trained, equipped, and selected to do a specific function. Pararescuemen are focused on personnel recovery. Every service has people to go rescue folks. If you're working on a Navy ship, they have what's called rescue swimmers, where if you lose somebody overboard, you have to send somebody to go get them. In the Army, it's the same thing. If you're working out in some battlefield and you're somehow disassociated, meaning you're away from your unit, there are people that are specifically trained to like, hey, I'm going to go essentially rescue these people. Well, the Air Force is the only DoD entity that is specifically trained, equipped, employed, and deployed to provide personnel recovery of all services all the time. So pararescuemen, basically the easiest way to think about it is no matter who you work for, and that's to include our national allies, like if you think about our partners that we work with, if you're lost, if you're hurt, if you're trapped, if your plane goes down, if you are taken hostage, if you are out at sea, we are the people that they will call for the highest risk mission.
William H. Pitsenbarger was born on July 8, 1944 in Piqua, Ohio. Born right before the end of World War II, Pitsenbarger was part of a new America, and in high school, he felt a calling to join the U.S. Armed Forces, particularly the Army. Pitsenbarger didn't think about joining the regular Army. He wanted to join the select few U.S. Armed Special Forces, the Green Berets, as they were still the premier fighting force in the world. However, he was told by his parents not to join and to stay in school. But right after graduation, he would join the Air Force and complete Air Force basic training. Once finished, he volunteered for pararescue work and started a rigorous training program. The training program included survival school, parachute school, scuba diving school, and rescue and survival medical courses. This training wouldn't stop, just that he would learn more life-saving techniques taught by healthcare professionals and medics experienced in trauma care. He would end his training with jungle survival and air crash rescue and firefighting. Once done with his training, he was assigned to the HH-43 Husky helicopter. During his time as a pararescueman, Pitsenbarger was deployed to the Vietnam War. His most memorable act during his service was the Battle of Cam Mai. Despite heavy enemy fire, and dangerous circumstances, he still descended into the combat zone and rescued many of his fallen comrades. Over the course of the battle, he saved over 30 men and provided life-saving treatment. Even when the helicopter had to retreat due to enemy fire, he volunteered to stay behind in order to keep treating wounded soldiers and assist them with evacuating. Unfortunately, he passed during that battle, but he gave his life to save many of his fellow comrades. The pinnacle of Pitsenbarger's military service came on April 11, 1966, during a rescue mission in the A Shau Valley, a remote area in Vietnam that was heavily controlled by enemy forces. This area was known for its difficult terrain, dense jungles, and treacherous conditions. The mission was intended to extract wounded soldiers from a location where they were trapped under heavy enemy fire. On that day, Pitsenbarger was part of the rescue team deployed by the helicopters to save the soldiers who had been pinned down by a larger force of North Vietnamese troops. Upon reaching that area, Pitsenbarger and his team began to rescue the wounded and provided medical care under fire. Despite the dangerous conditions, Pitsenbarger demonstrated his expertise as a medic, moving swiftly between the injured and providing life-saving care and stabilizing them for evacuation. As the situation grew more intense, the team realized that the mission was not going to plan. A new extraction plan was devised, but Pitsenbarger chose not to take the opportunity to escape with the other personnel. Instead, he decided to stay behind and continue helping those who were still stranded on the battlefield. His decision to remain was a critical moment, one that demonstrated his deep commitments to his comrades. He continued to assist the wounded, offering medical care while providing cover for his teammates. Ultimately, Pitsenbarger was fatally wounded during the last mission. However, his actions saved the lives of at least 8 soldiers, ensuring they were evacuated from the area. His bravery and selflessness were evident to those who witnessed the days of that event. But at that time, Pitsenbarger's death was unrecognized beyond the award of the Air Force Cross, a prestigious honor in its own right.
In the pararescue community, it's a thing that we say to one another when the mission is super, super scary, because I will tell you straight up, these things are scary. They're terrifying. You're going to go literally put your life on the line and get in a gunfight with somebody that's going to try to kill you, right? A phrase that we use all the time is Pitts would go. We look at each other and we're like, hey, this one's going to be dangerous. I've said it on real missions in my life. We looked at each other, these guys that take 2 years to train, these guys that are going to put their life on the line. And we're like, man, should we go? Should we not go? 2 words, usually 2 phrases are the only things you hear is that others may live. And then one of the guys would be like, Pitts would go. And then you go. His impact and the fact that he was honored with the Medal of Honor, and he actually has his own museum in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. It's close to where he grew up in Pequot, Ohio. His impact on the pararescue community and every single pararescueman. There's not a single pararescueman that doesn't know the name William Pitsenbarger, and we call him Pitts. But his impact is immense. It's lasting, and he is a hero.